going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. Let's start with the standings for MLB as we are winding down. It is September 15th. We have about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks to go in the regular season until the playoffs. American League East, Baltimore Orioles, their division lead's down to 1 game over Tampa. So Tampa, they got to that crazy hot start. They were in first place, and eventually they fell into a little bit of just a mediocre slump. Orioles took over the division. Rays kind of been playing well for a while, but Orioles have been just so good this year that the Orioles have stayed in first. But Tampa has stayed afloat. They've stayed within 3 or 4 games, and now they're only a game out. They've won 8 of their last 10. Tampa's now just a game out of that division. You got the Toronto Blue Jays, Red Sox, and Yankees that round out that division. Got more on the Boston Red Sox in a couple minutes. American League Central, Minnesota leads Cleveland by 8 games. 77-70. Normally that's not good enough to win your division, be in first place by this many games at this point in the year, but that division is horrible. Next best team is the Guardians, and they're 9 games below 500. And the White Sox and Royals, who are in 4th and 5th place, are both officially eliminated from playoff contention. The Royals are 46-101. They are 55 games below 500. That super tight American League West, right now, Houston is in first place. Texas has caught hot. They've now won 6 games in a row. They've swept Toronto in a 4-game set. They are just a half game out of the division, and Seattle is a game and a half out. They've been slumping a little bit. They've won their last 2, though. We have the Angels and obviously the A's at 54 games under 500. They are officially eliminated from playoff contention. They're half a game better than the Royals right now. So Royals are actually the worst team in the league right now. Kansas City is 46-101. A's are 46-100. So A's have a .315 win percentage. Royals is .313. Both are very, 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 very bad. National League East, Atlanta Braves already clinched National League East, so that division is over. National League Central, the Milwaukee Brewers lead the Cubs by 4.5 games in the Central. Reds are 7 back, and the Pirates and the Cardinals round out that division. National League West, Dodgers have a 13.5 game lead. They should be locking up that division pretty soon. See, they got 17 games left. They're 13. Sorry, their magic number is, I think, is 4 to clinch that division. So that should be happening very soon. To the wild card standings in the American League, first wild card is Tampa. The first wild card is going to be either them or the Baltimore Orioles. Second wild card is the Texas Rangers. Third wild card, last spot in is Seattle. So the American League West has 3 teams in right now. We got Toronto's a game and a half out. They got swept by Texas, like I said, in the 4-game set, so they're a game and a half out, and that's really the only team that's really that close. The Red Sox are 7.5 out, as are the Yankees. So it looks the American West could get 3 teams. Not really sold on either one, though. Houston, they obviously have the experience. They've been to the ALCS 6 years in a row. 4 of those times they were in the World Series. They've won twice. Of course, the 2017 one has an asterisk because they cheated. But, of course, their one last year does not have an asterisk. They're the defending champs. They got a very good lineup. They got a very good pitching staff. Dusty Baker won the World Series last year. He's taken 7 different teams in the playoffs. He got a very experienced team. But, they last couple years, they kind of ran away with the division. This year, obviously, not so much. They just, were only really in first place. Didn't take them to almost, September to even be in first place. And Texas loses Max Scherzer. Scherzer has a teres major strain in his shoulder. He's out for the rest of the regular season, and he's also out for most likely the entire postseason. It's a huge loss. Of course, guy from the Mets at the trade deadline gave up one of their top prospects, Luis Angel Acuna, in that trade. And he was, his first 3 starts pitched really well, but his last couple he had been struggling, possibly because he was pitching through an injury. And he's now most likely out for the year. So, I've been telling people the Mets made the right move to trade him, and looks like they did. That's a huge loss for the Texas Rangers. And then Seattle just, not as experienced. They're, the playoffs in MLB, it's not about the best team. So, it's about who gets hot, because in the NBA it's a 7-game series. So usually the best teams are probably going to win, because even if a team goes down 2-0, if they're the better team, they can easily come back and still win the series. If they're the better team, they usually can prevail. NHL is a 7-game series. In football, it's one game. But MLB, you gotta win. Every round is different. The first round, you have two teams each have a bye, and you gotta win 2 out of 3. Like a worse off team could win that series. Then the next round, you gotta win, 3 out of 5, and then the next round is when it's best of 7. So a lot of times who gets hot. So if you're in the hop up a championship series, even if you're the worst off team, you might be able to get to the World Series and possibly win it. I mean, when the Atlanta Braves won the World Series 2 years ago, they won the National League East, but the division was so bad they only had 88 wins. But they were like the best team in baseball from like June on, and they just were hot, and they won the World Series. And the Washington Nationals, when they won in 2019, they didn't even win their division, but they came in hot. From like June on, they were one of the league's best teams, and they just rode that hot streak through the whole playoffs. Look at the Philadelphia Phillies last year. They barely made the playoff, but they came in hot, and they just ran through everyone in the National League and ended up getting to the World Series. See, they're just not hot right now, so I'm not sure what kind of chance they have. In National League, wild card, by the way, for home field advance throughout the entire playoffs should be the Braves. In National League, they are about 7 or 8 games clear of the Dodgers for that. The overall second best team in baseball right now is the Baltimore Orioles. They are about 5 or 6 games clear of them for that as well. First wildcard is the Philadelphia Phillies. Second wildcard is the Chicago Cubs, who are a game and a half behind Philadelphia for the first wildcard spot. We have a 3-way tie for the last spot. San Francisco, Arizona, and Cincinnati are all tied for the last spot, and Miami is only a half game out. So you have 4 teams vying for the last spot. Giants, D-backs, and Reds are all tied for it, and Miami is a half game out. Then you have the Pirates are actually 6.5 games out. They're almost definitely not getting in, but that's not bad. They're considering how they haven't been even in the race since the end of April. Being 6.5 games out on September 15th is not bad at all. San Diego 6.5 out, and the Mets are 7 games out. It's won their last 2 since they hired David Stearns as the president of baseball operations. He'll officially take over once the season ends. And Colorado's already eliminated in the National League and the American League. You have Kansas City, Oakland, and the White Sox are all officially eliminated. Should be in for a very exciting finish in MLB. We got some news. The Boston Red Sox have fired Chaim Bloom, their chief baseball officer. I'm sure you are seeing all over social media, and if you have friends who are Red Sox fans like myself, they are very happy. He did some good things. The trade to get Kyle Schwarber helped them have a deep playoff run a couple of years ago. The trade to get Nathan Eovaldi worked out. I think signing Justin Turner off. I thought was a good move. The contract he gave, the move to get JD Martinez, and then when he originally re-signed him was a good move. But he's had the negatives outweigh the positive. The Mookie Betts trade was one of the worst trades in MLB history, trading him for Alex Verdugo, Jeter Downs, and Connor Wong. Verdugo's a good player, but you trade a top 5 player in the sport for not even an all-star. Jeter Downs is a failed top prospect, and Connor Wong is a bench player. Awful trade. He decided he could have traded Xander Bogaerts, got something for him. Didn't he? Lost him for nothing. He's lost, he's not been able to retain. Only star he was able to retain was Rafael Devers. So again, he did a few good things, but the negatives outweighed the positives. Did not do a good job. He came from the Tampa Bay Rays organization. Did some good things there. He had a lot of people had a lot of high hopes when he was hired. When he first got there, he did a few good things, but as time went on, it was just kind of like a step forward, 2 steps back. Now the Mookie Betts trade just completely did them and set them back several years, and he really hasn't stockpiled any prospects. Meaning, when he took over, the Red Sox had the worst farm system in baseball. And I think he's tried to build it up, but overall, outside of Marcel Mayer, who's their top prospect, looks like he could be a star, should be in the big league soon. He really didn't do anything to improve that farm system. It isn't that much better than when he took over, and it was the league's worst when he took over 4 years ago. Like, if you take Marcelo Mayer out of the system, there's really nobody, Jeter Downs was like the prize prospect of the Mookie Betts trade, complete flop. He's not even in the organization anymore. And, developing prospects, they have not had a lot of luck since Chaim Bloom took over. And there was speculation maybe they could bring back Epstein, of course, one of the greatest executives in MLB history. He took over the Red Sox and won the first World Series in like 90-something years, and then he went to the Cubs and broke their 108-year curse. He has been out of baseball since he stepped down a couple of years ago from the Cubs. But the Red Sox announced they're not going to bring him back. 2 years ago, the Mets went after him. He wanted like a huge contract and part ownership, so Steve Cohen was like, "Yeah, it's not going to work," and they mutually agreed to not, go forward. Other than that, he hasn't really been interested in too many other jobs. I think the Phillies, before they hired Dave Dombrowski a couple of years ago, sniffed around him. And that, I believe he's working for that for the league right now. So, but he apparently is off the table. So we'll see where the Red Sox go from here. Terry Francona might retire. He said a week or two ago, my body's telling me that, and my head is telling me that. So he's had a great career. Of course, he's had some health problems the last couple of years. Last 2 years has pretty much put those to bed. But especially with the Guardians, got me not gonna make the playoffs this year. He's been there a long time. Had a lot of success. He was in the World Series in 2016. Was very close to winning it. He won 2 rings in ball games. Got nothing else to prove. He's actually Michael Jordan's minor league manager years and years ago. So he's had a very long and successful career as an MLB manager. And the Japanese star pitcher Yamamoto is going to be posted. I'm hearing the Mets are the favorites because his fellow former Japanese star Kawhi Senga, well, the Mets signed him this offseason. He's had a great first year with the Mets. I think him, Diaz, Senga, Diaz, and Yamamoto all the same agent as well. So obviously there's a connection there. I'm hoping the Mets sign then they need starting pitchers. I would love for him to come in. Kawhi Senga can kind of help him out. As a guy who only a year prior was in the same spot, was a stud in Japan. He wanted to come to MLB. He got posted, and then signed with a big market team with big expectations. He's had a lot of bad luck recently for a long time. Gets a big contract. You can help him out. Diaz can probably do the same, and they all have the same agent. And there's obviously a major need in the Mets rotation because outside of Kawhi Senga and Jose Quintana, there's really nothing there heading into next year. So this happened about a week ago, but some weird stuff going on with Steven Strasburg, and that he announced his retirement a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, a lot of injuries throughout his career, from a World Series MVP. And then the Nationals were trying to get out of his contract because his contract is ridiculous. And then the Nationals were supposed to have this retirement ceremony for him. So they canceled it, and the owner said he's looking forward to seeing him in the spring. So now everyone was confused. I don't know if maybe they're pushing the ceremony to the spring. Maybe maybe they just want to have him around to help some of their other younger pitchers. So they have a lot of young pitchers there. Someone he was insinuating he was going to be playing. The dude announced retirement. He's made 5 starts in the last 3 years. So that was very, very weird. So I'm not sure what the Nationals were talking about, but I guess we'll find out come springtime. Colorado Rockies extend German Marquez 2 years, $20 million. They need all the pitching they can get. Their pitching is horrible, very hard to pitch in Colorado. Team sucks anyway. Who cares? Really bad news for the New York Yankees. Their superstar prospect outfielder Jason Dominguez, who has lit the world on fire, 20 years old since he got called up only a couple of weeks ago. He tore his ACL. He's having surgery. He's gonna miss 9 to 10 months. So that's a really tough break. He's only 20 years old. Was on fire since he got called up only a week or two ago, and that's a real shame. So 9 to 10 months. That puts him August. So maybe he can get back by June. Is probably the early. So that's tough. He would have probably been there everyday center fielder going into next year. Now he's probably out the first couple of months of the season. He might miss half the year now. That's a tough break by the Yankees. On to hockey. Coyotes extended their general manager, Bill Armstrong, and the Senators, they extended the 5th overall pick in 2020. Jake Sanderson, 8 years, $64.4 million. He had a really good year last year. Really good young defenseman, and I'm trying to keep as many young pieces as they can. On to basketball. Trey Murphy tours meniscus. He's from New Orleans Pelicans. He's out 10 to 12 weeks. The Lakers signed Christian Wood to a 2-year deal about a week ago. He'll make $2.7 million this year and have a $3 million player option for next year. Really good sign from Lakers. I'm surprised it took him this long to sign. Only thing I can think of is maybe because I know there was rumors he wants to go to the Heat based off what happened with the Damian Lillard trade. If they got Damian Lillard, depending on who they gave up for Damian Lillard. Maybe he just got tired of waiting. So he signed with the Lakers, but that's a really good signing. He's a very good player, absolute steal. He's obviously got really good size. He's a center, can score, really good off the mind center. I heard a rumor that Hachimura might start over him. I'm not sure if I'll do that because Lakers tend to play a little small. A lot of times they play AD at the 5. I think with Wood, this allows you to play LeBron to throw AD at the 4, which is where he really belongs. And maybe that could help protect against his injury. He's very injury prone. And then you play Wood at the 5. And now you have all these guys actually more available on the bench. We'll see what happens. But a very good move for the Lakers. Sixers re-signed Danny Green to a 1-year deal. Well, not re-signed. They brought him back. I think he was on a different team last year. For the FIBA tournament, the United States team lost in the semis to Team Germany, and Canada lost to Serbia in the semis. And then Canada beat USA in the bronze medal game. And then Germany beat Serbia in the championship game to win the gold medal in the FIBA tournament. Dennis Schroeder had a great tournament, had 28 points in the final. Daniel Tice played very well. He had like 22 points, I think, against the USA in the semifinal. And as for the U.S. team, it's the second trio they haven't had a medal. As for why, I just think the rest of the world has caught up to them. Simple as that. There's so much international talent. If you were to rank the top players in the league, how many of them are American? The best player in basketball right now is Nikola Jokic. He's not American. Giannis is top 3. He's either second or third in the league, I would say. Not American. Joel Embiid. I know, he might be on the U.S. team because he became a U.S. citizen, but up to this point, he was not a U.S. citizen, so he was playing for another country. Excuse me. If you look at America's top stars, you have Steph, you have LeBron, but outside of that, there isn't that many American stars. You have Devin Booker. There isn't that many left. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. A lot of their stars are just older. Like, LeBron's an all-time great and a great player still. But he's 38, 39 years old? Anthony Davis is 33, 34? He's always hurt. So when it comes to, there's so many just young, amazing international stars. Jokic, Giannis, Embiid. There's so many. Pascal Siakam, you got Lauri Markkanen. There's just so many. Only young superstars America has is Devin Booker. Even Kevin Durant's older now. Kevin Durant's 35, 36 years old. Always hurt. I guess Bradley Beal is still in his prime, but he's always hurt. The rest of the world has just caught up to America. It's simple as that. Speaking of FIBA, apparently LeBron might play in the 2024 Olympics. He's been all over social media just trying to recruit guys. If they send all their guys, their team should be stacked. You would have LeBron, Steph, Kevin Durant. You have Devin Booker, Bradley Beal. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown probably makes the team. You have Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler. They would have a stacked team. Kyrie Irving. The team would be unstoppable, but if all these guys play. And LeBron probably knows that it's going to be his last chance for this Olympics. It's probably why he wants to do that. Kind of like the last ride kind of thing. So Chris Paul is expected to start for the Warriors. He'll play in small spurts, so maybe he'll start, but then, he'll end up maybe playing 20, 25 minutes. So I guess they're looking at probably Steph, CP3, Clay, Draymond, and Looney maybe. Maybe you have Wiggins come off the bench. I'm not sure what exactly they're planning, or maybe you have Steph, Paul, Wiggins. No, you can't play Clay at the 4, so I don't know what they're thinking. But apparently Chris Paul is expected to start for the Warriors. I could see, based on what I'm hearing, I think Chris Paul is going to start at 2 guard, but I think Andrew Wiggins will probably play more than him. I think they'll give Paul probably 20 to 25 minutes, and then the other 25 to 30 or so they'll give to Andrew Wiggins, for the most part. So, Boban Marjanovic is back with the Rockets, signed with a 1-year deal. We have some troubling news. Kevin Porter Jr. was arrested for assaulting his girlfriend. Rockets can't punish him until the NBA finishes their investigation. Not his first incident. When he was still at USC in 2019, he had an incident. He's had like 5 or 6 different incidents. This is why the Cavs, traded him for nothing. He had an argument with Rockets assistant coach last year and just left the building midway through the game due to nutcase, complete dumpster fire. And his career, I'm hearing, he's done as a Rocket, and most likely he's done in the NBA. The shame. He's a talented young player who's actually very good, and he's about to ruin his career. So he and Damian Lillard are planning to resume top before camp. I hope they do, because I'm tired of this saga. Please just figure something out. Apparently Dame only wants to play for the Heat. Please figure something out. And I heard if they make the trade, they'll pursue Kelly Oubre to help try to fill their bench. They've been trying to do that. You kind of like prepare for that. I know they were going after Christian Wood. Didn't quite get him, but I guess now they turn their attention to Kelly Oubre's, their bench, which is already kind of thin, is gonna get even thinner if they trade for Damian Lillard. Cavs brought back Tristan Thompson. He was there for the 2016 championship, led by LeBron James. He's back in Cleveland. Some depth on their bench. The Spurs waived campaign. Interesting move. He's a pretty good player. Solid number 2 point guard. Was on the Suns the last few years. They traded him to the Spurs in the offseason because Suns had no money. Yes, they made the Bradley Beal trade. Spurs waived him, so we'll see if anyone else picks him up. And the Kings waived Nerwin Noel and Neemias Quaida. I don't know who that last guy is. That's to make room for JaVale McGee, who they just signed. The Lakers just extended Jared Vanderbilt 4 years, $40 million. Got him at the trade deadline last year. Very good defender off the bench, so they lock him up. And NBA made a new rule that teams cannot rest 2 All-Star All-NBA players in the same game. So definitely a long time coming. All right, let's get to our game picks for college football. All right, so number 22, Miami defeated Bethune-Cookman last night, 48-7. No surprise there. Miami's ranked. Bethune-Cookman is obviously not. As for the other games, let's go. So, number 3, Florida State playing Boston College in the ACC rivalry. Florida State should easily win that game. They're favored by 25 points. I'd probably hit the over. Florida State is rolling right now. They appear to be back. Jordan Travis and their top receiver, Keon Coleman. That connection is fantastic. I expect them to go off again. Florida State wins that game. Number 7, Penn State against Illinois. I'm taking Penn State. Number 14, LSU against Mississippi State. I'm going to take LSU, who I'm not sold on. Obviously, they got blown out by Florida State week 1, but I'm taking LSU in that one. Number 15, Kansas State playing Missouri. This could be possibly like a trap game, but I'm going to take Kansas State. Number 12, Utah against Weber State. I'm taking Utah. Number 9, Notre Dame against Central Michigan. Definitely taking Notre Dame. South Carolina plays number 1, Georgia. Georgia in a landslide. Number 10, Alabama plays South Florida. Alabama should win no problem. Should get back on the win column after losing to Texas last week. San Diego State plays number 16, Oregon State. I'm taking Oregon State. Number 19, number 19, Oklahoma against Tulsa. Oklahoma should win that one. Minnesota against number 20, UNC. I'll take UNC in that one. I got Northwestern against number 21, Duke. I'm taking Duke, who's actually decent this year. Of course, they beat Clemson week 1 by a lot. Western Michigan over number 25, Iowa. against number 25 Iowa. I'm going to take Iowa on that one. Western Kentucky against number 6 Ohio State. Ohio State should win out, no problem. Number 8 Washington against unranked Michigan State. I'll take Washington now one. Maybe a little closer than people think, but definitely Washington. Northern Colorado against number 23 Washington State. I'll take Washington State. I did not know Northern Colorado was a program. North Carolina Central against number 24 UCLA. I'm taking UCLA. Number 11 Tennessee against Florida. I'm taking Tennessee. The Florida program is not what it once was. Bowling Green against number 2 Michigan in a landslide, and then next week they get back Jim Harbaugh. Georgia Tech against number 17 Ole Miss. I'm taking Ole Miss. Wyoming against number 4 Texas. Texas by a lot. Hawaii against number 13 Oregon. I'm taking Oregon. And Colorado State against number 18 Colorado. I'll see a lot of joining. Colorado State head coach Jay Norvell said, about Colorado, I take off my hat and glasses when I talk to adults. That's how I was raised. And then Dion, short a clip of him talking to his players at practice, firing back. Shitter Sanders basically called him a fool. So this game is going to be very, very fun. A lot on the line. But Colorado is much better than Colorado State. I expect Colorado to win in a convincing fashion and make a statement yet again. All right, so we got some NFL news. So obviously, Chris Jones ended his holdout. I think I talked about that already. But there was rumors Brian Burns was going to hold out. Obviously, he did not. He wanted $20 million a year. Carolina was offered 23, but they put their talks aside for now. Jake Kaner for the Saints suspended 6 games. He's their third-string quarterback. I don't know why a third-string quarterback felt like to take steroids, but that's something that happened. Chase Young might not play this week. Didn't play week 1 either. That dude just can't stay on the field. It's a shame. He's got a neck injury. The Tampa Bay Bucks didn't extend Mike Evans, obviously. The Vikings are not expected to send Justin Jefferson. Won't talk until after the season. Better get him locked up because he is amazing. Bengals are not close with T. Higgins, and he didn't help his case having no catches week 1. But it appears he'll probably hit the open market. Cooper Kupp's on injured reserve. It's another piece of news. But Rams young receiver are stepping up. Puka Nacua look very good. They had another young guy who was not Van Jefferson who also played well. It was Tutu Atwell also played well. Jack Conklin tore his ACL and his MCL in week 1, so he's out for the year. It's a big loss for the Browns, who pride themselves on having a top tier offensive line. The Kobe Dean's out a few weeks for the Eagles. He's out about a month. A young linebacker. Another one of the Georgia defenders that the Eagles have, but he's going to be out a while. Speaking of the Eagles, former Philadelphia Eagle, 9-time Pro Bowl offensive tackle. I think he's in the Pro Bowl 9 times. Just signed with the Seattle Seahawks, Jason Peters. He's 41 years old. He hasn't been good in like 3 or 4 years. He was on the Bears a year or two ago. Wasn't any good. And he goes to the Seahawks as they get some depth at offensive line. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a couple of injuries. Deontay Johnson, the original report said he was going to be out several weeks. But now Deontay Johnson just came out and said that he's day to day. So I'm not sure which one it is. But Cam Hayward, their Pro Bowl defensive tackle, was out 8 weeks with an injury. And the Carolina Panthers are signing Tariq Cohen to their practice squad. He's had a lot of injuries the last couple of years. Has not played in 3 years. But a couple of years ago with the Bears, he was emerging as a really good gadget player. Really good punt returner, running back, and Carolina brought him in for some depth. Before we wrap up, a couple of more things. In the UFC, Sean Strickland beat Israel, whatever his name is. I forgot the dude's name. But, Izzy Adesanya in an upset, so Sean Strickland is now the champ. Coco Gauff wins the US Open on the women's side at 19 years old. That is crazy. Snaps a long draft for U.S. tennis players not winning the U.S. Open, so kudos to her. And Novak Djokovic won the U.S. Open, defeating, whatever his name is, Medvedev, whatever his name is, in the U.S. Open in 4 sets. That is his 24th career major that ties Margaret Court for the most all-time among all tennis players. He is 1 away from the all-time record. And the UFC and WWE have officially merged a couple of days ago. Endeavor, who owns UFC, and WWE officially merged. Endeavor owns 51% of, it's called TKO, and WWE owns 49%. So for the first time in decades, Vince McMahon and McMahon's are not the majority owner of WWE. So Ari Emanuel, who is the CEO of Endeavor, is the chief executive. Vince is still involved. He's the chairman of the board. Nick Khan is still the president of WWE. So Triple H, who runs the creative for WWE, he's still calling the shots. He reports directly to Nick Khan, who is still the president of WWE. Dana White is still a CEO of UFC. Apparently, Vince McMahon now has the power to make decisions at the higher ups for UFC. So we'll see what happens there. Could we see some sort of crossover between UFC and WWE? I think this is very exciting. It's a very good time to be a fan of wrestling, and I'm very excited to see where this merger goes. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long. Have a great day.